Top 10 Embarrassing NBA Moments. Number 10. The Decision. In the summer of 2010, LeBron James televised on ESPN what team he would take his talents to in the following years. If that isn't a sign of his meteor-sized ego and an embarrassment to the NBA, I don't know what is.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I ran Please Stay LBJ. This party is because of our organization, and we've supported him for 7 years now. And for him to go on there and drag us through the mud for 7 years and stab us in the heart, he deserves everything he gets. I hope he never wins anything in Miami.
Number 9. Eddie Griffin's Duncan Escapades. On March 30th, 2006, in the great state of Minnesota, Eddie Griffin rammed his Cadillac Escalade into a Chevy Suburban outside of a Minneapolis store. What's worse is that Griffin was incoherently drunk, according to witnesses. What's even worse, what could possibly be worse, is that he told several passersby that he was watching a pornographic film on a mounted DVD player while performing a sexual act as he drove the car. Number 8. Isaiah Thomas's tenure as Knicks general manager and coach. This is as low as you can go managerially in the NBA. Isaiah Thomas's reign as coach and general manager of the New York Knicks effectively destroyed the franchise for the time being. He made sexually inappropriate comments and advances to former Knicks marketing executive Anna Brown Sanders. After the Knicks were forced to pay $11.6 million in damages, and following a terrible 23-59 season in the 2007-2008 season, Thomas was forced out of town. Number 7. Marv Albert Scandal. I know Marv Albert isn't technically part of the NBA, but when you mention his name among junkies, it's likely traced to the association. I don't want to get too deep into this one, but let's just say that he bit a woman 15 times on the back after forcing her to do weird things, and in turn pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault and battery charges. He was let go from the NBA for the 2 subsequent seasons before being restrained. Number 6. The 1918 game. In the 1950-1951 season, the Minneapolis Lakers were the best team in the league, and had a front court that featured legends George Mikan, Jim Pollard, and Vern Mikkelsen. On November 22, 1950 in Minnesota, that team took on the Fort Wayne Pistons. After Pistons head coach Murray Mendenhall promised a tussle in Minneapolis, the Pistons instead went on to hold the ball for as long as 5 minutes in a row without taking a shot, and as a result, the final score was 19-18 in favor of the Pistons. Mikan had only 4 field goals in the Lakers' losing effort. Although this is one of the NBA's most embarrassing moments, it was certainly revolutionary in the fact that it helped bring about the 24-second shot count. Number 5. Michael Jordan's gambling issues. Michael Jordan's gambling problems were well documented in the early 1990s. After a book called Michael and Me, Our Gambling Addiction, My Cry for Help was released, it was made public how big of a problem it was. The author, a sports businessman named Richard Esquines, claimed his heiress had given him over $1.2 million over the course of a few years on the links. He also routinely lost money at casinos in great amounts. He wasn't exactly the best husband either, having an affair with a woman named Carla Naffel who tried to extort money from Jordan in a failed paternity suit. Number 4. Len Bias' sudden death. The 1986 NBA draft featured a plethora of seemingly future superstars, and among them was the University of Maryland's Len Bias. After being selected second by the Boston Celtics, Bias was back in the school the following night when he took cocaine that led to his cardiac arrhythmia. His untimely death was called the cruelest thing I'd ever heard from Larry Bird, and it was incredibly embarrassing for the NBA because it exposed some of the drug abuse that was rampant around the league. I'm not saying that Bias' death is embarrassing, because that would be insensitive, but the aftermath and the fact that the NBA had to take a look at what kind of role models they were promoting is very embarrassing. He is perhaps basketball's greatest what-if of all time. Number 3. Latrell Sprewell's family needs food. After a successful season in Minnesota, Latrell Sprewell was offered a 3-year, $21 million extension. The problem is, Spree didn't think that this was generous at all, noting that, "Why would I want to help win a title? They're not doing anything for me. I've got a lot to risk here. I've got my family to feed." Needless to say, the Wolves didn't, and thus concluded Spree's tenure with the NBA. This, however, can't be the worst moment even in Sprewell's career. Number 2. Rose gets a sub for the act. In 2008, it was revealed that Derrick Rose had someone pass his SAT for him. He had previously failed the ACT 3 times, so that he could attend Memphis and play for John Calipari. The NCAA then vacated Memphis' 2007-2008 runner-up season when the Tigers lost to Kansas in the championship game. Number 1. Jason Williams' fatal mistake. In 2002, 34-year-old Jason Williams shot his limo driver, Kostas Christofi, while hanging out with some friends in his home. According to Williams, he was only playing around with the gun, but still pleaded guilty to aggravated assault last year. Although he wasn't playing in the NBA at the time, it was still obviously brought about negativity and embarrassment to everyone involved with the league. That concludes our list of the top 10 most embarrassing NBA moments. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel and activate that bell so you don't miss any of our future uploads.